The infamous execution of William Spencer, a Tudor tragedy. The reign of the Tudors in England, marked by dramatic political shifts and ruthless religious reformations, is replete with stories of courage, betrayal, and tragic executions. Among these, the execution of William Spencer in 1589 stands out as a harrowing example of the tragic intersection between faith and politics. His death is not merely the story of a man condemned, but also an illustration of the deep ideological rifts that tore through England during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. Let's explore the circumstances of Spencer's execution, the underlying political and religious motivations, and its significance in the broader context of Tudor England. The historical background. The Tudor dynasty's rule, especially under Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, was marked by severe religious upheaval. Following the English Reformation initiated by Henry VIII's break with the Catholic Church, England underwent a series of religious transformations that saw the country oscillate between Protestantism and Catholicism, depending on the ruling monarch's preferences. By the time Elizabeth I ascended the throne in 1558, England was firmly Protestant. However, a significant portion of the population remained loyal to Catholicism, and Elizabeth's policies reflected both her desire for stability and her determination to quash any religious dissent that might threaten her authority. During Elizabeth's reign, practicing Catholicism was not only frowned upon, but was increasingly considered a form of treason. The establishment of the Act of Supremacy in 1559 declared Elizabeth the supreme governor of the Church of England, effectively criminalizing any refusal to recognize her religious authority. This set the stage for a series of persecutions against those deemed recusants, individuals who refused to attend Anglican services or acknowledge the Queen's supremacy in spiritual matters. Who was William Spencer? William Spencer was a Catholic priest who lived in a time of intense persecution against his faith. Born into a Protestant family, Spencer converted to Catholicism in the 1580s, a decision that would seal his fate. After his conversion, he traveled to the continent to study theology and receive ordination as a priest. Upon his return to England in 1584, Spencer undertook the dangerous mission of ministering to underground Catholic communities, celebrating Mass, and providing the sacraments, acts considered highly treasonous by the state. In 1586, Spencer was captured along with other Catholic priests and laypeople who were sheltering them. His trial and subsequent execution took place during a period of heightened anxiety about Catholic conspiracies. The famous Babington Plot of 1586, which sought to assassinate Elizabeth and replace her with the Catholic Mary, Queen of Scots, had just been uncovered. This event intensified the Crown's suspicion of Catholic clergy, whom they saw as agents of sedition and rebellion. The charges and trial. The charges brought against Spencer were grave and inevitable. As a Catholic priest, his very presence on English soil was deemed an act of high treason. The law under Elizabeth I stated that any Catholic priest ordained overseas and found in England was automatically guilty of treason. Spencer's trial was a mere formality. Despite his eloquent defense and calm demeanor, the outcome was predetermined. The jury found him guilty, and he was sentenced to die the horrific death prescribed for traitors, hanging, drawing, and quartering. The execution method itself was intended to serve as a brutal deterrent. It involved hanging the condemned until near death, disemboweling and emasculating him while still alive, and finally cutting his body into quarters. Such a spectacle was meant to instill fear and demonstrate the Crown's unwavering stance against any perceived threats. Spencer's composure during his trial and execution, however, made him a martyr in the eyes of many Catholics and further fueled the fires of religious discontent. The execution and its impact. William Spencer's execution on January 24, 1589, was a tragic spectacle. Reports of the event describe how Spencer, dressed in his priestly vestments, met his fate with remarkable courage and serenity. He refused to recant his faith and instead used his final moments to pray and offer forgiveness to those responsible for his death. Such courage in the face of unimaginable cruelty only served to elevate his status among Catholics, who saw his execution as a testament to the righteousness of their cause. The execution had far-reaching implications. For Elizabethan authorities, it was an assertion of the Crown's control over religious affairs and a warning to any who might think of defying the established Church. Yet, for English Catholics, it was a symbol of their oppression and a rallying point for continued resistance. Spencer's death became a poignant reminder of the costs of religious devotion in a country where faith and politics were inextricably intertwined. The broader context of Catholic persecution. Spencer's execution was not an isolated incident but part of a broader campaign of repression. Elizabeth's government, deeply suspicious of Catholic sympathizers, especially after the defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588, launched a more aggressive crackdown on recusants and priests. Catholic worship was forced underground, and a network of spies and informers ensured that any suspected Catholic activity was swiftly reported and punished. The execution of Spencer and others like him also had international ramifications. Protestant England's harsh treatment of its Catholic subjects drew condemnation from Catholic powers such as Spain and the papacy. This contributed to the ongoing religious and political tensions between England and Catholic Europe, which would culminate in continued conflicts and plots against Elizabeth's life. Legacy and reflection. The execution of William Spencer remains a stark reminder of the brutal lengths to which Tudor England went to enforce religious conformity. His death was not just a tragedy for the man himself, but for a nation torn apart by religious division and intolerance. The legacy of Spencer and his fellow martyrs continues to be remembered, especially by those who view his execution as a testament to the power of faith and conscience against the might of the state. Ultimately, the story of William Spencer is more than a historical footnote. It is a powerful narrative of conviction in the face of persecution, a tragedy born of the clash between political power and personal belief. His execution, though intended to silence dissent, instead gave voice to the enduring struggle for religious freedom that would shape the centuries to come. Thanks for listening. Like and comment. And please subscribe, as that will help us get more videos out to those interested in the Middle Ages. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.